I'll go across to Mr. Joshi. Mr. Joshi, we were looking at digital advertising. It definitely would need to grow at 50%, as we just explained in those graphics. At 50% doesn't seem to be feasible. The other question I'd want you to answer is, can that subscription from that 10 rupee per month bundle that you get in a group, can now the OTT winner or the digital winner says, no, I will not have bundles anymore, and you have to come specifically to me and buy it, and no more tie up with other mobile operators as such?
You know, the TVOD model, the transaction video on demand model, is now definitely in play, and micropayments are available. So conceptually, you know, people will be asked to put a small amount of money to watch a match, a particular event or something like that, and maybe there is some money to be made over there, both domestically and internationally. On the advertising side, though, I have a very important caution. Globally, advertisers are beginning to get very circumspect around digital advertising for a simple reason. They are now saying that there is no, platform agnostic measurement system that tells us how many impressions were really delivered, right? And we are convinced, and they know, I mean, it's actually established that a large number of, click factories exist all across the world. So these are server farms that are doing nothing except creating fake impressions and fake clicks on an assortment of sites, including the streaming sites. So advertisers are becoming circumspect and saying that we are not sure that we are getting much more than 20, 30, 40% of the value that we are nominally supposed to get. And if this is true, then what you're talking about, that the price is half, actually the price doubles or worse than doubles, right? So there's a massive escalation. And somewhere along the line, it is showing up in resistance, which is growing. So we do know that there are advertisers in the first world, in the United States itself, who have been paring back their digital spends because they say that we don't know what really happened here. We don't really know the return on marketing investment that we got here. And I suspect that exactly that kind of a thing is working on the minds of serious advertisers in India, because they are going to say that until we have a platform agnostic measurement system that tells us the real impressions we delivered, we are meant to just depend on the vendor saying that so many million people watched me, right? That is something that these people routinely do, that so many people say that, or we say that so many people watched us. It's an assertion. There is no authentic agnostic source that says that, yes, these many impressions got delivered. So I believe that there is going to be some circumspection at play here. And this notion that we will just walk out into the market and the money will come just sort of flooding in is serious case of irrational exuberance going on.
All right, those are interesting thoughts there. One measurement of how many people eventually get to see those ads on digital, as Mr. Joshi is pointing out, is very interesting, and that might just go against a digital player. Mr. Tawani, the other thing, for the first time we are also seeing two broadcasters, albeit for different platforms, one for digital, one for TV. Does that take away negotiation powers from the broadcaster? Because if it was the same company that demand a price, let's say upwards of 10 lakh per 10 seconds, when you had both digital as TV, now it's split. Does it take away from your negotiation power? Because now if a brand wants to be on IPL, if you're offering very high rates just to compensate for the money that you spent, I could go to the other guy.
Yeah, theoretically, yes, if there are two broadcasters offering, but they are both will be offering different kinds of reach, different kind of consumer profiles. And both have paid over the top, digital in particular, and cannot afford, to drop their prices just to snatch business from the other platform, because you drop prices, you got a P&L to look after. Your assessment on the gap on digital is somewhat similar to mine. Mine is actually 17,000 crores on gap from the ad sales, and that's for two other reasons in addition to what Paritosh, who I agree with on his comments on digital, is that inventory fill on television is running at 95 to 100%. So the 3,500 seconds actually gets sold. If you track the inventory fill on Hotstar in the last two seasons, you'll find that an average inventory fill was 78%. So there is a 20% gap that can happen over there. And then, to amplify what Paritosh was saying, in India, the tendency to watch on digital is on handheld devices, mostly mobile phones. So small screen impact for advertisers is very limited. It tends to be people who are commuting. It tends to be people who are buying it as part of a bundle. So there are all kind of drawbacks in the present landscape. And I think I also agree with Paritosh. At the end of 5 years, it might have changed. But this is the critical 5 years. And this bid would have made sense 5 years from now. But at this moment of time, I'm not so sure. And I'm not so sure that they are going to compete for business by dropping their prices, because both parties stand to lose.